Welcome to Cardinals Countdown here as we get into week 16 of the NFL season. Craig Fouy, Colin Harmon with you. Puppet Coach is off as he gets ready for his show that's going on downtown Phoenix. Allpuppetplayers.com. You can check that out. It is Die Hard, A Christmas Story. So check that out. Plays every weekend. Colin, the Cardinals with a ugly falling flat on their face loss in Detroit yesterday, 30-12.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on? You lost the week before. You know what's at stake in the division. You're trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. You fell flat on your face against the same bad Lions team last year.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
No, it was ugly. And you gave up 112 yards to the Lions' third-string running back.
They were down so many guys.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are missing DeAndre. I don't want to hear it.
I know,
This
right?
is a one-win Lions team that was missing half their secondary.
Chris Brooks says, wake up, with about 7 exclamation points. That's it. I mean, here's what I thought. They got this brand new plane last week, right? They introduced it on Thursday. They're going to fly to Detroit in their brand new Cardinals airplane, the only the second team in the league to have their own private plane. And I think they all got excited about the beautiful surroundings and the digs. I got extra wide seats. I can recline. I can lay back and sleep on the way. They forgot about the game. They just forgot.
You know, I thought the leadership in that room was going to change that. I think, to me, that's kind of the most disappointing thing is, like, I thought we'd put those kind of losses in the rearview mirror. And it's like the Carolina, you're due for a clunker. Like, I'm not saying you're not going to have a bad game, but to have one in that spot, you know, with everything you're trying to play for this late into the season, you know, and that narrative is not going away.
No.
This team gets worse as the season goes on.
And a Lions team that had one win.
Leadership, we were beyond that, and apparently we're not.
No, I know. Richard says it was embarrassing. Yes, it was, Richard. Thank you for that comment. Dominique says, hey, Kingsbury, my heart hurts. It's like, no kidding. How about Chris? Is Larry in shape? Is Larry coming back? Larry Fitzgerald.
Are you actually asking that? Come on. Well, the guy's like on a golf course, probably signed up for a pickleball tournament, you know, getting his bell rung right now.
I'm guessing
the furthest thing from his mind.
Colin, I'm guessing he was watching Tiger and Charlie play this weekend.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure. Anything other than watching the Cardinals' embarrassing performance.
Yeah. David says coaching staff should be embarrassed and too many risky decisions and play calling. David, I'm telling you what, the coaching staff is embarrassed. I can guarantee you that. This whole team's embarrassed. Eric says fire Cliff. I don't think we're quite there yet.
No.
But I think we can.
But I do not think there's the same panic there was a couple of weeks ago when the Oklahoma stuff got floated out there of, oh, we need to sign Cliff now. I think that has gone. That ship of leverage has sailed.
Isn't that insane? 2 weeks ago, he's going to leave. You got to sign him to a long-term contract. Wow.
You know, and Cliff said earlier in the year that they spent time in the offseason researching teams that had played really well coming out of the bye week and what they did and tried to mimic those schedules. He didn't get into the nitty-gritty and tell us the details, but he did say that they spent significant time trying to mimic and follow what those guys did that led them to be successful. We're not off to a rip-roaring start here.
No, Lona says, so where do the Cardinals sit at now in the playoffs? They are now, at this point, if the playoffs started tonight, they're the 4 seed, and they would play the 5 seed in the wild card round, which happens to be the LA Rams.
Oh, good. Just who everybody wants to play in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's going to be the one team that everybody's trying to avoid, I think.
Yeah. Michael says 5 minutes into the first quarter, you could sense the direction this game was going to go based on the lack of energy. No question about it. Listen, Colin, you and I were in this office yesterday watching that game unfold, and we both looked at each other and went, holy cow, where are the Cardinals? They were abducted by aliens.
And to have that Lions team hold the ball for that many minutes in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You know, let them, their third string running back, run all over you. You know, and we thought that was bad. What do you think Jonathan Taylor in this Colts offense is going to do on Saturday night?
Oh man,
I shudder thinking about what that
right?
offensive line is going to do to this defense and what Jonathan Taylor. I mean, do you just give him the offensive player of the week award right now for next week?
Jonathan Taylor leads the league in rushing. If you don't know who he is, he's the Colts running back. He's second-year man out of Wisconsin. He has 1,518 yards so far and 17 touchdowns. Nobody's close to him. I mean, if you look at James Conner, I think James has 700 yards and 14 touchdowns. He's second in the touchdown category. But Jonathan Taylor, 1,518 yards. Wow.
It's impressive. And beyond just Jonathan Taylor, I mean, this Colts defense is no joke. You know, Jonathan Taylor gets all the headlines, but that unit is scary. And they force more turnovers than any team in the NFL. So, and that's something that's plagued, you know, with Kyler recently. He hasn't been playing anywhere near the level we saw him at the beginning of the season, but it's been some careless turnovers. That's something that you're gonna obviously have to avoid this Saturday night. And please just win a game at home. You know,
Right.
Is it too much to ask, Fooey? Just
No,
come out and play all right, you know?
it's
I
Christmas
don't get
too.
it.
No. Jeffrey Barnes says they thought they could just show up, and because they were playing one of the worst teams, that the Lions would roll over. They didn't. They did not.
And if you go look at, if you go back, I doubt Cardinals fans want to watch the Lions post-game celebrations in the locker room, but you listen to Dan Campbell speak in that room. You know, even though their record is what it is, like that's a team that loves their coach and plays for their coach.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell, even though they're not playing for anything other than pride at this point, that meant something. And I don't get it. Again, I don't get the flat performance in that spot from the Cardinals. It just
Makes no sense.
Can't wrap my head around it, man.
Heidi says Cliff just needs to call plays for Kyler, not an in-the-pocket quarterback. Well, Kyler's shown he can throw from the pocket. I mean, but I think when you get behind the way they did, I don't think you have your same game plan. I mean, you had 3 plays and out and 5 yards in the first quarter. That changes the dynamic of your play calling, your call sheet, whatever you wanted to script. All that is out the window now, and you're playing from behind. It was 17-0 Lions at halftime. So much for going off a script or figuring out what you want to do from there. You got to catch up.
Well, and if your defense can't get off the field, you know, that's pretty hard. But offensively, the DeAndre Hopkins injury, it's obviously horrific timing,
Yes.
you know, with the regular season that they were having, and then for it to come to this. But we've seen, you know, little snippets. Kyler and D-Hop were out for the same 3 games. But and I'm thinking like the Packers game specifically, you know, when he first kind of got the hamstring injury and Hopkins on the sideline. When he was not out there, you could see how much that offense changes without him on the field. One of, if not the best wide receivers in football, completely changes the entire dynamic of what that unit is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know for these next 3 games to round out the regular season and head into the playoffs. And this report of 6 weeks, you know, if they get to an NFC Championship game, dude, he tore his MCL. He got surgery on it. I'm not buying that timeline either.
No, I'm not either.
Let me ask you this. And you're out for 9 to 12 months, but you tear your MCL and you're back in 6 weeks. I'm not buying it.
But Colin, let me ask you this, and those of you that are with us here on Facebook, let me ask you this question: is Kyler healthy? Does he look like he's playing hurt? Does he look like they've tightened up the playbook, or do you think he's healthy?
I think he's healthy enough. Is anybody healthy truly in week 15 of an NFL season? But do I think that's the reason he's, you know, hasn't put up the same numbers? Not really. I don't think he's playing anywhere near the same amount of confidence he was. And I think that's probably the thing that, you know, you lose all that momentum and you're kind of, you know, you kind of go back onto the field and he's probably thinking a lot more than he was in the first part of the season. You know, when you're, make sure I don't, you know, land on this or get hurt here or, you know, try to protect myself. You know, Kyler's at his best when he's, you know, it's backyard football and he's not thinking. It's all just reaction. And I don't think there's a lot of that there right now. I think it's a team clearly trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, Dominic says Kyler's been off his game since his injury. Chris says he looks like he has a lingering injury. Jeff Barnes says he looks a little gimpy. It's one of those. I think that was a typo autocorrect there, Jeff. Gumpy.
He looks gumpy too.
Yeah. Michael says no, he doesn't look healthy. He left yards on the field when he could have taken off. Yeah, where were his legs? Right? Where was the run game from Kyler yesterday? I know. Listen, like I said, I know it was a tough situation. Guys were dropping passes. Kyler's accuracy was off. The offensive line couldn't block. They couldn't block me yesterday. Let's be honest. Bad snaps. I mean, the defense couldn't slow down a third string running back. It was just a total team effort yesterday.
You're right. I mean, the offensive line issue was bad.
Oh,
it was really bad. There was no pocket whatsoever. I mean,
nope.
And the penalties again is an issue with the offensive line. I don't know. This is it's just such a bummer. The conversation has changed so much so quickly.
Clifford says, sounds to me like you guys are just making excuses. I think you missed the beginning of this where Colin just went off. It's totally inexcusable to lose a game in Detroit like it was yesterday. I mean, we're not making excuses. We're trying to come up with reasons, right? Why are they just so poor? Why are they playing so poorly?
I wish I had an answer.
Right? You sound like Cliff. Wish I had an answer.
Yeah, right? Making 1/1000th of the salary.
Yeah. Michael says the lack of play from the O-line is getting in his head and causing him to panic. Might be, right? You start looking down. Instead of looking down the field, you start looking to see if you're going to get sacked or get hit. That could be part of it. Could be. Gary Wilson. These guys are supposed to be pros, completely outclassed and outplayed by a 1-11 team. Hey, don't forget that one tie, Gary. 1-11-1. I don't know. This is a tough one. And listen, it's not like they don't have talent. Even without DeAndre Hopkins, they still have Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, A.J. Green, James Collins, Connor. They have Chase Edmonds was back. They still have weapons on offense. It's not like they're weaponless because of no DeAndre Hopkins, but he does take away one of those elements that defensive coordinators have to account for on every snap.
Yeah, DeAndre counts as more than one guy. I feel like
he does.
When you're trying to game plan for him, and you start looking. One of the questions that we had coming into the season that the Cardinals answered by and large was the secondary. That was a big question, and they played extremely well.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Alford goes down, and that Rams game. I've never seen wide receivers as open as they were. And that's something that we haven't seen from this Cardinals secondary. So, how much does that start to play a role? And again, this isn't an excuse. Every team has injuries. You see how many teams are missing 16 to 18, 20 players this week. Like
COVID,
teams find a way to win a football game, and, going on the road and losing to a 1-win team's inexcusable. But, the stuff's starting to pile up, and the Cardinals just need to get out of this funk. Yep. And, I think if they can go in and beat the Colts, that completely changes things again. I think it gives a team a lot of confidence. For the fan base, can you win a home game? Can you win a primetime game at home? You can't go 0-3 at home on national television, and want to be some, hey, don't forget about us type of team. But you look at the rest of the NFC, and who knows? There's so much parity this year.
There is.
The Buccaneers, what was that?
I know.
You get shut out at home.
Yeah. Chris says all we need to do is win one of the 3 remaining, correct? I think we get that done, no problem.
Yeah, I don't think they're missing the playoffs. That's not in doubt here. But you lose a home game. You don't win the division when you could have wrapped that up, and all going on road. If you get the Rams or the 49ers, who are playing a heck of a lot better in the second half of the season in the first round of the playoffs, no, thank you.
Eric says Vance Joseph needs to be promoted to head coach. Let me put the pause on that quickly, because we just mentioned the fact that the Lions' third-string running back, Craig Reynolds, gained 112 yards rushing against the Cardinals defense yesterday and put up 30 points against the Cardinals. A 1-11-1 team put up 30 points against the Cardinals. Not sure I'm ready to jump there yet. Not sure. Dominic says, I purchased YouTube for ESPN for 3 Cardinals. Hey, way to go. Listen, hey, I have YouTube TV too. And when they shut down ESPN the other day, I switched. I'm like, nope, can't do it. Then they signed back on. So that's a whole nother story. Danny says, I'm okay with Rams' loss, but Detroit is just not a good sign. It's not. You're right. It's not. It's not where you want to be.
But here you go. How about you beat the Colts and you beat the Cowboys? And then, maybe that Cowboys game is a game that probably weren't going to win when you look at the schedule on the road.
Yeah.
So you get it back. I'm looking for positives here.
I know. Rosemary says, I still can't believe the Cardinals lost to the Lions. None of us can, Rosemary. None of us can. It's bad. Oh, my goodness. Carol says, should have put McCoy in earlier. Listen, that was just to prevent Kyler from getting hurt. That's all that was. It's like, there's no reason to have him out there. Cardinals are down 30-12. It's late in the game. Let's not get him hurt. That's all we need, right? So, no, not going to happen. No. Dominic says, talk to the Cardinals for us. Oh, we're on Zoom calls with them daily. Yeah, I wish we could convince them. I think they all know where they're at. Like, I think they realize what's going on, but you have to just focus in on the Colts right now. Not worry about the playoffs, not worry about the Cowboys on the road, not worry about the Seahawks. Just focus on the Colts on Christmas night at home, nationally televised game on NFL Network. You have to focus solely on that. That's it. And you got to come out with energy. You can't do another Carolina Panthers or Detroit Lions hapless walk on the field.
They better start fast.
No,
they better. If you can't come out after 2 losses back to back at home on Christmas night, needing a win desperately, like air. If you can't come out in the first quarter, and that's been an issue. Therefore, we know home in general has been an issue, but specifically the first quarters, they haven't scored more than a touchdown in any first quarter at home this season. 7 points is their highest. If you can't start fast, because this Colts team, the way they're built, running the ball and playing defense, you get behind early, you're in big, big trouble. And Carson Wentz is the guy that's that X factor for Indy. If he turns the ball over, they're in big trouble. If he starts, you put more pressure on his shoulders and he starts coughing it up, that's how Indy loses football games. But if he doesn't turn it over, the Colts are 6-1 this year. And if they're able to get out in front, there's not going to be a whole lot of Carson Wentz chucking the ball around the field.
Yep. No, I agree. Where was I looking at here? It was, talking about James Conner. Eric wanted to know how many touchdowns he has. He has 14 right now. He's second in the NFL among running backs with touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor for the Colts happens to have 17. James Conner has 14. He's in second. Keeping this in mind too, not every player wants to play on a holiday. So, we have those Thanksgiving days, we have Christmas days. I remember when Kurt Warner is here, they played, I don't remember if it was the Packers or the Patriots, but they played on Thanksgiving night and he hated it. He was vocal about not wanting to play on Thanksgiving, didn't want to be away from his family, hated every minute of it. So you got to remember that too. Some players just don't want to play on Christmas Day. They just don't. I don't know if that affects the Cardinals or the Colts more. The Colts have to travel, so they're going to miss Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So maybe that's a factor. We'll see. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Kurt's got a lot of kids.
He does. I know.
It makes a difference.
It does make a difference. Hey, thanks for joining us, you guys.
Patrick's got none, so he's ready to go.
We appreciate it. Hey, join us tonight. We've got a post-game show coming out of the Vikings-Bears game tonight here on ABC 15. Two-time Super Bowl champion Mark May will be with Colin and I tonight as we kind of talk about the Cardinals more, look ahead to the Colts, talk about the NFL, and what's going on around the playoff situation. So join us tonight right out of this Monday Night Football game on ABC 15. Colin, great job. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. Appreciate your comments, and we will see you next Monday night at 7 right here on ABC 15 Arizona Facebook page. Thanks, guys.
Night, everybody.